Hi, and welcome to the Share Today show. Do you or someone you know have imperfect skin? Well, we're going to share with you on how it can be treated when we come back in a moment.
For more information, contact Share It Today at 248-968-2780 and visit shareitnumber2day.com.
Welcome to the Share It Today. Dr. Bobby Edwards with Michigan Skin Associates, right?
Yes.
Thank you for sharing with us today in the areas of skin for so many different complexions, because people do suffer with skin disorders. I myself think I have one, but most people wouldn't, and that is called freckles. Let's talk about that, because this is going to help me. Where do they come from? Why are they there? Why do they exist? Why are they visible? And how in the heck can we get rid of them?
Freckles are genetic overgrowths of pigment cells that happen to be on the surface of the skin. And they tend to come as you age. You'll see them more. Some people have them as children, and they're very prominent as children, and they keep them through a lifetime. Some people develop them, they become a little darker as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
They will stay with you for your lifetime unless you have them removed. And there are some procedures that can be done, such as laser removal of freckles. Most of the creams that are available, I don't think have really been proven to do very much, but certainly you can have procedures done in a doctor's office, laser or potentially chemical peels, and sometimes freckles can be removed surgically, but that's a little extreme. Most people would like to do things that are non-invasive.
Now, when you say laser, does laser take them away forever? Or is it a continuous treatment?
Laser will take those individual ones away forever, but you always have to be careful about sun exposure, because sun exposure will stimulate your pigment cells.
I get more.
If you're sensitive to making freckles, you could make more.
Is there anything a person can apply to their skin during the summer to decrease getting more freckles during the summertime?
Well, it won't decrease the number of freckles that you're going to get, but it may decrease their visibility, and that's sunscreen, which everyone should wear
on their face?
On their face,
okay.
And as well as any part of the body that's exposed.
What type of sunscreen should one apply to their face?
A facial sunscreen that is SPF 15 or higher, and if you are especially sensitive to the sun, you might want to choose 30 or higher, SPF 30 or higher. That's sun protection factor.
Okay, and when you're shopping for these sun protectors for your face, you should also be looking for whether or not it's for oily and dry skin, correct?
Probably not. Most sunscreens are not. Sunscreens are not marketed the way that facial moisturizers are. So you may find moisturizers and cleansers and other face products that specify dry versus oily. Sunscreens are not done that way. You may find a sports sunscreen that is not an oily product. It's something you could sweat into, and that might be more of an alcohol-based product, or a regular sunscreen is going to be more lotion or creamy, and people will choose based on what feels good on their skin.
Now, is this something, of course, that you recommend people use to prevent skin cancer? And what happens when a person is usually developing skin cancer? How does that happen? It's just not always exposure from the sun, right?
Most of the time it is exposure from sun.
Okay, now how can one tell that they have been exposed, overly exposed to the sun, and they have developed skin cancer?
Well, you can't tell that you've been overexposed to the sun unless you have a sunburn, and that's part of the problem, is that sun exposure is cumulative. Every sun exposure that you've had in your life counts towards your total. When you pass whatever is your particular threshold, then you start getting sun damage lesions, and everyone's threshold is different. People of color with darker skin tend to have a higher threshold. We do better, but people of color still get skin cancer. Fair-skinned people, their threshold is low, and they have to be extremely careful.
So when you say sunburnt, is that meaning that the skin was exposed to the sun and it's red, or it's dark? Because every year, I think every summer, their skin pigment color changes.
Right.
It-
So this is not tan. Sunburn would mean red, painful skin that will then peel after the exposure. You know, a few days maybe after the exposure, it will start to peel away. And it may leave you with a little discoloration, but you know, overall the discoloration goes away. What you're talking about is tanning. Tanning is not as severe of an exposure as sunburn, but it still counts as towards your total that you're trying to not reach in your lifetime so that you don't get any skin cancers.
Do we know what total that is?
There's no number. There's no number. It's just everybody's body can tolerate a certain level, and when you pass that level, then you're just going to start coming to the dermatologist with sun damage.
Okay. Is there a time to get checked for that though? I mean, since you're exposed to sun every year, is there a time to go to a dermatologist such as your practice and say, hey, could you check me for skin cancer or check my total?
Well, there's no test to do, but we do look at the skin and we try to determine through other factors whether there's been a lot of sun exposure or not.
Real quickly, how often
Once a year.
Once a year. Okay, thank you. When we come back, we're going to talk about more about dry skin. Back in a moment.
Share It Today is another source of outreach for the mission of Virtuous Family Community Services, helping build families for opportunities and advantages. Visit us online at www.vfcs.org or email us at help@vfcs.org. DVDs are available for purchase online at shareitnumber2day.com.